Welcome back. It's still Daybreak Interactive here on Daybreak on Trust TV. The phone lines are open. Of course, you can call in to share your comments, thoughts, concerns on the newly passed Student Loan Access to Higher Education Repealed and Reenactment Act 2024 was passed by the President Bola Tinubu, a couple of days ago at the presidential villa in Abuja. So, like I was saying earlier, it is an initiative of the President Tinubu administration to provide easy access to funding for indigent Nigerian students. It is aimed at relieving vulnerable Nigerian students of the burden associated with paying their school fees, thus providing equal rights to education for all. First of all, before we proceed, here are excerpts on the passage of the Student Loan Act by the President at the Villa. Take a look.
Law in the presence of the Senate President Godswill Akpabio, Deputy President of the Senate Barau Jibrin, his Chief of Staff Femi Gbajabiamila, and some members of his administration. The President had initially signed the student loan bill into law back in June 2023 to offer financial assistance to Nigerian students in tertiary institutions, but various issues had hindered the rollout of the scheme, necessitating its being sent back to the National Assembly for amendment. The meticulous approach to implementing the scheme indicates the administration's belief that education is the effective tool to fight against poverty.
We are here because we are all educated and we are helped. In the past, you've seen a lot of our children drop out of colleges and given up the opportunity. That is no more.
Stakeholders are delighted with the signing of the scheme.
And we want to thank Mr. President for his compassion and his passion for the downtrodden, actually, who are the beneficiaries of this scheme. Now the days when students will be struggling to sponsor themselves in their various educational endeavors is over, both at the tertiary and those who are seeking skills, who are seeking to be skilled, to be empowered, to move on with their lives.
The Nigerian students particularly are happy. Our parents are happy that yes, in Nigeria, even the children of the poor can have access to quality education. We see Mr. President's commitment and the signing of the bill today. It shows that Mr. President is a father of modern education in Nigeria, and the initiator of this bill is a hero of education. So we are happy. We've never seen this before. The education system in Nigeria will have a turnaround.
The committees on tertiary institutions and TED Fund of the two arms of the National Assembly had carefully scrutinized the provisions of the bill before passing it. With the initial hiccups out of the way, it is hoped that the National Students' Loan Scheme will now take off. From State House, Abuja, Kehinde Amodu, Trust TV News.
There you have it, the passage of the Student Loans Bill into law. It has been enacted as an act, and implementation is now underway. Like I said, you can dial the number on the screen to share your comments, thoughts, and as well concerns around the newly passed Student Loans Act. Also, I earlier stated that it's meant for indigent Nigerian students across higher institutions, universities, polytechnics, colleges of education, as well as skill acquisition and vocational institutes. The student loan application is fully automated, thus eliminating all forms of human contact. At this point, you do not need to meet anybody throughout the application process. I understand we now have a caller on the program. Hello, good morning. Thank you for joining the program. What's your name and where are you calling from?
All right, good morning.
Good morning. Please, your name and where you're calling from.
I'm calling from Ondo State.
Your name, please?
My name is Yanu. I'm calling from Ondo State.
Oh, Yanu, go ahead.
All right, so I just have a few questions for you, yeah?
Okay.
So my first question is, with regard to the student loan, is it also applicable for people that want to do their masters and then PhD within the country to also apply for the loan. So that's my question.
Well, Yanu, I have that concern as well. Anyways, thank you so much for calling, Yanu from Ondo State. It's also a concern that I have because, although I've not seen the full rundown of the student loan, the newly passed student loans bill act, if you may, but I'm also concerned as to whether the student loans will capture those who are currently undergoing master's degrees and other forms of postgraduate degrees in Nigerian universities, or it is relegated solely for students undergoing undergraduate programs in the university. So unfortunately, I do not have an answer as to whether the student loan scheme captures those who are undergoing postgraduate programs. But I'm hoping that the authorities will share some clarity so as for people, Nigerians, to have a better understanding of how they intend to implement the act. Thank you very much. Ianu there from...
I still have one more question.
Ed Ianu.
I heard you when you were saying if with regard to before tax, that apparently if on the long run you are granted a loan and you are unable to pay back, you have a jail term of 3 years or thereabouts. And you also made mention that it's only in the case of death or God intervention that they can let go, that you won't pay back the money. So I want more explanation on what you mean by God intervention. We understand that death, once you there, after that you can. What do you mean by God intervention? Is it that maybe you had a fatal incident or you are disabled or something? So I also want more clarification on that.
So basically, the amendments made to the Student Loan Act, and I am by no means a representative of the government. This is based on my own understanding of some of the provisions and some of the amendment provisions in the Student Loan Act. So an act of God could be, any act that is beyond the control of humans. So acts beyond human control, acts that one would deem literally had to be relatively the intervention of God to happen. So like you mentioned, maybe accidents, maybe cases of disability, any of those unforeseen circumstances that may lead to your inability to pay up the loan. This Student Loan Act now provides that it now provides for loan forgiveness in the event of these situations that have been termed as an act of God, and death, of course, including death, is also an act of God. At least it's seen as an act of God. So I hope this clarifies your confusion as it is.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Yanu, for calling. Viewers, like I said, the number is there on your screen. Please call in to share your comments, your thoughts, and your concerns around the Student Loan Act passed by the President a couple of days ago. Also, Yanu had quite a number of questions there, especially relating to whether the Act provides or the Act covers those who are currently undergoing postgraduate studies. But then again, we have another caller. Good morning. Thank you for joining the program. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Yes, I'm using my wife's name. My name is Magaji Yohana Maika.
Okay, Mr. Magaji, where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Koi, southern part of Kaduna.
All right, Mr. Magaji, go ahead.
Yes, I have a daughter who has a first degree in biochemistry, and she wants to go and do another second degree in nursing, BSc in nursing. Is she qualified for this scheme?
Well, as far as the provision of the Student Loan Act is concerned, it captures to a very large extent, it captures all undergraduate programs. So for tertiary institutions across universities, polytechnics, monotechnics, vocational and skill acquisitions institutes. So of course, yes, I believe so long as she intends to acquire education in a tertiary institution in Nigeria at the undergraduate level, I'm not sure about postgraduate, but for undergraduate level, she should be eligible for the loan after this Nigerian Education Loan Fund carries out its vetting to confirm if she is indeed eligible for the loan.
Okay, thank you. So it means she can apply, isn't it?
Well, she can apply so long as she is proven to be eligible by the Nigerian Education Loan Fund. But as far as accessing education in higher institutions is concerned, I believe she should be eligible to access the funds.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome, Mr. Magaji. So just a quick reminder that I am by no means a representative of the government. So the answers to these questions are solely based on my understanding of the provisions and, of course, the amendments as provided by the federal government and the National Assembly on the newly passed Student Loan Repeal and Reenactment Act 2024. So I await those calls, comments, questions, concerns around the newly passed law as we try to navigate through our expectations, and implementation of the loan in the coming days, weeks, months, and even years. As Nigerians hope that it will address quite a number of situations where Nigerian students have no option than to drop out of school because of inability to pay their tertiary institution fees. But then again, we have another caller. Good morning and welcome to the program. What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Edward Idako. I'm calling from Madala.
All right, Mr. Idako, go ahead with your contribution.
Yes, though you say that you are just speaking from your own perspective, and it's just the one that you can be able to answer. I don't know, how much are they actually aiming at giving a particular student? Is the money going to come directly to the student, or they will just pay it to the tertiary institution?
Okay, so as per the first provisions of the Student Loan Act before it was repealed for amendments to be made and reenactment, it was initially stated that once it is established that the student is eligible for the loan, payments will be made. Now, in this situation, school fees or tertiary institution fees payments will be made directly to the account of the tertiary institution. But then again, you know that the Act has been amended and it now covers for not just the tertiary institution fees. There's now a provision for tertiary institution charges that might emanate as a result of registration exercise across the school, as well as upkeep allowance for the students. So as for the tertiary institution fees, that's the school fees at this time, it means that the National Education Loan Fund will be making transfers to the accounts of the school or the higher institution. However, for charges and upkeeps, I believe that should be made available to the students.
It's all right.
Thank you very much, Mr. Idako, for calling.
You.
Yes, that's Mr. Idako from Madala, Niger State. Please keep the calls coming in as we try to navigate, understand, and also share our expectations on the newly passed Student Loan Enactment Act 2024. Well, it's seeming like quite a number of Nigerians have questions and also concerns around this. Of course, you know the best way to better understand these questions and also concerns is to voice them out so that the authorities get to know them and also work towards ensuring that this act, this bill, this law serves the majority of Nigerians. And with that, we have another caller. Good morning and welcome to the program. What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Goswill. I'm calling from Yola.
Mr. Goswill from Yola, thank you very much for joining. Go ahead with your contribution.
Please, my own is not contribution. Mine is advice. You are a journalist. You are not a minister of education, a state government stakeholder on education issue. Some of the answers you are giving us is not satisfied. We are not satisfied with it. There should have been somebody that was seated with you in the studio that will be giving us all these answers, giving us the satisfactory answers to our questions. Considering this government are maybe they know how to talk, they cannot fulfill it.
All right, Mr. Gospel, thank you very much for the concern there. Yes, indeed, I'm not a representative of the government. I'm not a representative of the Minister of Education. However, this is supposed to be an interactive segment where Nigerians call in to share their thoughts, comments, and as well concerns. Yes, immediately after this segment, somebody will be joining us to share more on the student loan amendment. And like I said, it's just my opinion and it's based on my understanding of the Student Loan Amendment Act 2024. But then again, it was passed a few days ago. So in order for you to get somebody from the government in the studio to share comprehensively, your expectations with regards implementation, of course, it will take a couple of days. So I plead that you be a little patient, and definitely you'll be seeing someone in the studio who you can ask directly all of these questions and share all of these concerns too. Thank you very much, Mr. Godswill. Yes, that was Mr. Godswill there, who was at this point concerned. But then again, unfortunately, that's the much we can take on Daybreak Interactive this morning. It's been quite interesting talking about the passage of the Student Loan Enactment Act and as well Nigeria's expectation of the act with regards implementation. Well, join us again on another day, preferably tomorrow, and also next week, as definitely we'll be talking about more issues for you, our viewers, to call in, share your thoughts, comments, and concerns.